Hey internet gamblers, this is the Wrestling Shuffler, and this is a different type of video that I like to call the free nails on a coffin. And by that, I'll be addressing free seized characters, gimmicks, promotions that aren't with us anymore, but we still both, or at least cherish them as a part of wrestling industry, and I'll address them as saying what I personally love to have got the chance to see more, or to appreciate them as performers, or appreciate those little things that made wrestling so good, and now we don't have the chance to see them anymore. So with that being said, I'm going to open up the casket and talk about free. I'm going to address free seized wrestlers that I wish I could have seen more out of them. So, in the first one, I'm going to address the first wrestler I'm going to address is Tarzan The Boredom. Tarzan The Boredom was a Portuguese wrestler from the 50s, 60s until his 80s that was European champion for all of Europe, a four-time world champion. He shared the spotlight with many movie greats such as Brigitte Bardot, John Wayne, and many others. He performed in front of Saddam Hussein in Iraq. He was known as a deadly wrestler, shared his success throughout the world, and most importantly, he, alongside Antonio Macedo, I believe, was responsible for the Portuguese commentary in the WWF when World Wrestling Federation television was in Portugal TV. So he ceased at 70 years old in 2005, but I wish I could have the opportunity to at least see a match out of Tarzan The Boredom. I believe that in some ways Tarzan The Boredom isn't recognized or is being forgotten as one of the greats in world wrestling, and if WWE is the be-all end-all of world wrestling and as pay homage to the greats throughout the world in wrestling, even in the NWA days, the territorial days, then I believe firmly that for the culture of Portugal and Europe wrestling, Tarzan Taborda should be inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame. That's my dream, and I hope that many of you, even wrestling American fans or whatever, can appreciate this man for being one of the greats. So this is a person that I would love to see a match, a video of a match of him in his heydays from the 50s and 60s. So, Tarzan Taborda, rest in peace, dear friend. Next, the next name is, excuse me. Okay, next name is, the next name I'm gonna draw is this one, Brian Pillman. I've known of Brian Pillman when, quite honestly, from his loose cannon DVD. Brian Pillman from that DVD became my favorite wrestler that I never got the chance to see him or appreciate him. He had a fantastic work ethic. He was passionate about wrestling. His loose cannon gimmick, as well as fine Brian Pillman, was one of the major and most innovative characters and performers that wrestling ever saw. I dare to say that that he was a wrestling genius, and especially when CM Punk and all of the guys have used so many shoots throughout the years, Brian Pillman was definitely an original. I feel that if Brian Pillman was in today's WWE, he would be one of the guys that would troll the internet wrestling fans to no end. He was a crazy mofo, and maybe even in a PG era, without his craziness and with his passion, dedication, and talent, he could be at the level or could be playing a major role as one of the main stars in the WWE alongside Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, John Cena, you name it. He would gel very good. So Brian Pillman, rest in peace, my friend. I would love to see more of your work. Finally, the last nail of the coffin is, is, wait, sorry. Excuse me, Jesus. The last name coffin is, the last name is Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero is the third wrestler that I was the most sorry to see him go, because as many of you don't know, I became an official wrestling fan in 2006. The last time I saw Eddie Guerrero was in a match between Mr. Kennedy when the qualifying match for Survivor Series 2005. Now that I am for almost 8 years, I believe, a wrestling fan, I can't tell you how much I'm ashamed for never truly at the time to appreciate Eddie Guerrero as a performer. He was great. I wish I could have seen more matches out of him. His lying chin stealing gimmick as a babyface, one of the most hilarious, fun, clever gimmicks that will never be duplicated in wrestling again. And from what I've heard, he was a man in deep respect that loved, similar to Brian Pillman, that loved and cherished the wrestling business as much as the great ones. So, Eddie Guerrero, Eduardo Guerrero, descanse em paz, meu amigo. Rest in peace, my friend. I hope you find heaven. I hope you find peace. And I hope you're wrestling in front of God with Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior, and all the greats. So, these are been my 3 seized wrestlers that I wish I could have seen. The Portuguese legend Tarzan the Boredom, the loose cannon Brian Pillman, and the Viva la Raza hero Eddie Guerrero. These are 3 names that are no longer with us, and we should cherish these moments as well As although wrestling might not be all that great, but one thing I've learned from these three is cherish your present. Cherish your present because you never know what will we have in the future. You say Cena sucks, but I guarantee you, Cena, there could be a lot worse guys in the main event level in 10, 20 years if wrestling's still alive, worse than Cena. And more frightening, there might never, there might not be a wrestling, there might not be a wrestling company, a wrestling television in the next 20 years due to the state and unpopularity that wrestling, the wrestling industry is passing right now. So, all I have to say is cherish what we have because, just as JR said, our tomorrows are not guaranteed. We might be worse, bad now, but we'll never know what tomorrow will bring us. So, this has been my 3 nails in the coffin this week, or for this segment. Rest in peace, my friends. And this has been the Wrestling Shuffler. Share free wrestlers that you missed the most watching or you never got the chance to see it in the comments down below. This has been the Wrestling Shuffler, and all I got to say is have a blessed Sunday and see you next card game.